afternoon, or evening. I'm Austin Uku of Maximum Output Performance, and I wanted to put together a video just to give you a force multiplier for everything that you do. It's going to make everything that you do, no matter what program you're on, better. Now, it's going to sound a little bit ridiculous, but do it better. so, I got this saying. So my closeout is do more, do it better, max out. And so it's terms of maximizing your performance. And I think it goes back to ultimately, and I've seen it myself. So, pointing this finger directly at me. Sometimes we get into the room, we just do stuff. And so whether we're freestyling it or we have a card we're looking at for particular exercises, and we just kind of go through it half-ass, lackadaisically, as opposed to applying the proper exercise intent with particular movements. Now, what does exercise intent mean? So I want to break this down to, well, two parts. What does doing it better mean? So there's several phases of the rep. Concentric, when you're going up against gravity. The isometric contraction at the top, when you're getting that squeeze. So whether it's a pull, whether it's a press down. So whenever you're squeezing the muscle, and then the negative, whenever you're moving the weight back to its starting position, so resisting gravity. Now, there's really a lot of opportunities to get more out of your workout, and it's going to take slightly longer than you've already allocated to working out. All right, and so as you're coming up, you want to get a strong concentric contraction. So whenever you're moving the muscle up against gravity. Now, if you go too fast and fling it up, you're only going to work the first 20% of the rep. All right, so you don't want to move it too slow because you're not going to activate the muscle's full potential. So with this, again, it's going to be on you to select the proper weight that you're able to move it through the range of motion to get it to where it needs to be. All right, and so form is very important, and so, but also the type of weights that you're lifting, so that you can again activate the muscle's fullest potential. So if you go too heavy, you're not going to be able to move it at the proper rest speed. If you go too light, it's not going to be enough to properly stimulate the muscle. So you're going to have to work too hard at the midpoint to make it worthwhile. So you want to find that happy medium. So giving yourself a challenge, but again, one that you're capable of scaling. All right, and then from there, get that contraction at the midpoint. So you activate the muscle and look to activate the deeper fibers. So that squeeze is there. All right, so that's a very important part. And then controlling the negative down. All right, so if you think about it on the way up with that squeeze, that's where you get a chance to gain strength. So this overall strength, you're teaching the muscle how to contract more. And on the way down, you're putting the stress on the muscle that's going to result in the little tears that cause your muscle to grow. So up, you grow stronger. Down, you get more muscular. All right. So also puts the quality of detail in it when you focus on that negative of the rep. All right. So those three points of the rep make up the whole rep. And when you start to think about the intent of the set, so I'm doing this because of that. All right, so the muscle that you're actually trying to target, all right, putting your mind on that, making sure that you're present during the entire set. So a lot of times, even we have our headphones on, or we listen to a podcast, whether we're recording ourselves or whether we're listening to music, and we can kind of go away, get outside of ourselves. And so you gotta be present. So whenever you are present, you're going to get that much more activity out of the muscle. All right, and so you're going to learn the different little nuances of the rep where you can learn to operate your body better. All right, so instead of just going in a room and doing shit, you're actively participating in the process. All right, and so, and again, staying in there. So for your sets and reps, being present, controlling the movement, mastering yourself. All right, and so, and that's one aspect of it. Another aspect, and so let's just go to all three phases of it. So we're doing the type of reps, but also exercise selection. All right, and so once you understand how you want to look, it's not you can chat GPT it, so you can look stuff up on YouTube. If you're in a coaching program, it doesn't matter if you're not again, present for the actual work to be done. All right. And so, but understanding, the target of the set. So keeping your mind on that and making sure those muscles are working. All right. And so, and then also the great revealer, cardio. And so cardio is an exercise too. All right. And so sometimes when you get on and just kind of go dumb and mindlessly go through cardio, the way to maximize that is work a little bit harder. So the key to fat loss and cardio is to um, not make it too easy and not make it too hard. All right. So that point where you can keep your foot on the gas, but you're not just going crazy. So there's a going crazy of cardio, and that's what a lot of people think cardio is. That's why they kind of have this attitude about not really wanting to participate in that. And so that going crazy cardio is not necessarily the fat loss cardio. So I hope that makes a lot of you feel a lot more comfortable. So the cardio that I'm talking about, you get on the machine, go on medium, you start to move. All right. And so actively pushing the pace, monitoring your breath. If the movement, sorry, if you're having a hard time keeping up with the breath in, naturally your body's going to slow down. But you always want to look to kind of get a little bit better. So to be able to push the pace for longer. All right. So again, without going into the crazy realm, you still want to increase your cardio output. So being able to train your heart over the course of the movement. So whenever you participate in cardio in that manner, you actually get better at doing it. And so, well, I don't know if it's a good or a bad side, but it gets easier, and you have to do a little bit more. You're gonna have to expend a little bit more energy because you're better at doing it. So you have to, again, move to a certain level, where your heart kind of hangs out in that particular zone. All right, and so and that's how you get better at it, by simply pushing the pace when you can. And so I'm constantly looking to continuing to work a little bit more. And so, and this is, and I stressed a little bit more because um, the jumps in it are not necessarily necessary. So you go up when your body tells you to go up, but you're constantly monitoring that progress. All right. And so going back to resistance, and so as opposed to the thing I was thinking about is the improvement on that. And so the importance of form. So the movements that you go through are designed to activate a symphony of muscles. So that means if you raise your arm this way, you push your arm out this way, you pull your arm this way, muscles are going to activate in a certain sequence. So the more you can stay true to whatever that pattern is, you're going to activate those muscles. And the more that you continue to activate them to a certain point where they get into overload, so you break their current threshold of what they're capable of. All right. And at that point in time, your body's going to kind of adapt. So there's an overload point where, once you pass that line, your body has to adapt. All right. So you put the protein in, then you're going to gain more muscle. So the louder you send the signal, you're going to gain more strength. The more strength you have, the more heavier weight you're going to be able to lift. The heavier weight you're able to lift, you're able to apply more damage upon the muscle. And then you constantly are able to keep increasing something. So it's not always going to be weight. Sometimes it's getting more reps. But ultimately, you want to still be able to keep the muscles in the track of the movement, in the again the track of the form. So when you're able to do that, you're looking to have a greater contraction in the same line and able to thinking as far as progressing through there. So there's a concept you may have heard of. It's called progressive overload. And so I have mixed thoughts about progressive overload. I think that if you could overload progressively to infinity, there'd be more people walking around with 500-pound bench presses. There are not. All right. So there's a genetic cap that some of us are, well, all of us are subject to. All right. So within there, my philosophy is just continue to work harder. All right. And so managing, so this is a formula where you can look at. So within the movement, you want to find a weight that you're able to move with above average physical challenge. And so from there, that's when you get the opportunity to scale it up. All right. So you want to still be able to continue to move within that track, within the rep range that you're currently allocated to. Now, within there, after that, once you start to be able to see that you're able to move it to somewhere in the 12 to 15, 20 times, then push yourself. All right. So look to get to within 4 reps of reserve. So that means that if you had to eke out any more reps, you wouldn't be able to do more than 4. So that's close enough to failure to, in my opinion, be able to force an adaptation. All right. So you might be able to get somewhere a little bit closer to that, but I think that that's a general area where you can kind of look to recognize that as a place where you can stop the set. So from there, the next sets, if you're able to again keep the form for at least 10 reps, you might be able to go up. All right. And so, but I think that in that 12 to 15 range, so 12 to 20 range, so somewhere within those, if you're, kind of achieving failure, within the, 25 to 12 or somewhere like that. So 12 solid reps, but, within the 25 rep range, so somewhere in 20, 22, wherever you get to failure. I think that is where you live for adaptation. So adaptation, and again, if you're trying to get stronger, that's probably going to be a little bit less. But for the most part, I think that within that range, you can get strong, and you can also get a little bit more muscular. You can kind of shape your body the way that you want to within that rep range. And so those are things to think about. So as far as whenever you're doing a resistance training, make sure you're able to keep the form, all right, but also look for that where the bar of failure is at. So I tend to not go to absolute failure where it's just like half a rep and then no more. All right, and so there's drop sets and other things which I may discuss in a different forum. And so, but thinking about those aspects as far as resistance and then cardio, looking to do more. All right, and so not just idly loping around, and so but being able to kind of push the pace whenever you're on there. So that's how you get to the point where you actually get better at doing cardio and you start to get the results that you're looking for by even venturing into the cardio realm. All right, so to work your heart, but also to strip off some of that extra body fat that's hiding all the muscle that you're developing. So that, and again, selecting the proper exercises to construct yourself the way you wish to be constructed. And so, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully I definitely got this out in under 10 minutes. And so however I cut it up and distribute it for the forum, we shall see. So I just reactivated my school membership. So I'm going to be posting there. I might be able to put this whole video there. But otherwise, keep following for more tips for getting rips. Do more, do it better. Max out.